Okay, welcome to the Strong Opinion Hibs episode. This is our second cup final episode we've done. We lost the first gen. We're hoping we win this gen. I'm joined by Jack and Charlie. How are you, boys?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Looking forward to the weekend, and hopefully, as your picture says, Kelvin Lewy's got 3 after it.
Exactly. That's the title for the episode. Lewy's got 3 ? So we'll see, mate. We're getting to how we're feeling about it, Jack. How are you doing?
I'm still, like I said in the previous one, I'm still bouncing off the walls of the derby. I've got mixed feelings about the cup final because my mood is going to be very dependent on the result. It'll either be Yash Hibs or I'll only support Hibs women now. And just have to see how it goes with that one. I'm excited. I'm just a happy Hibby right now.
Oh, good, mate. Hopefully that buzz bounces over into next week as well, and you're still a happy Hibby this time next week. Right, let's get into it then, boys. Celtic on Sunday. I've sort of rejuvenated Celtic, I revived Celtic since Big Ange Postecoglou's came in. He's got them playing Ange ball, as all the Glaswegians say. We got to see a glimpse of Ange ball at Easter Road when they beat us 3-1. However, we came out second half. Ever since there, though, that's sort of been, that game was sort of maybe the start of our downfall. We haven't played too well since then. How does our current run of form and the sacking of Jack Ross play into the weekend, into the fixture?
I think it's got similar story to when Rangers or when Gerrard left Rangers before our semi-final with them. So I think obviously Jack Ross's sacking, it was probably time, but I think on reflection I probably would have given him the final. It's a one-off game. And, you know, if he'd won the cup, that saves his job. And then if he lost the cup final, you sack him. But I think it's, like I said already, it's a one-off game. And I think the league form doesn't matter. It's a cup final. So, you know, the Scottish Cup final, you finished this. If it was the Scottish Cup final, would have finished the season. And would have just been going and focusing on that. And I think perhaps it's been playing on the players' minds the past couple of weeks since we beat Rangers, but obviously that's not an excuse. But
I think Cadden alluded to that as well, saying that, you know, the cup final was on their mind. Sometimes you can become a cup team. I mean, look at St Johnstone last year, poor in the league at times, but won both cups. Let's hope that's us this year.
Hi, I'd hope so.
No, it never is, though, is it?
No.
On yourself, Jack, how do you think our current run of form and the way we've been playing and sort of the mess we're in right now down at Easter Road? We are in a bit of a mess, that's how I would describe it. Pretty much no man's land. It seems like to the fans anyway, a lot of uncertainty. How are you feeling going into the weekend?
It's funny actually about the comments about Jack Ross. I've got to say, I would have given him the final and all, but there's a few. I was out with the Edinburgh City girls on Saturday, and there's a few Hibbies there, and we were all having an argument about it. Erin and Laura were like, "No, Jack Ross deserved to get sacked," but me and Lisa were saying that we should have given the final, which we should have. I think the final would, if he wins the cup, you know, that's a stay of execution. If we get beat, you know, that would have been it once and for all. So on that respect, I'm like, it's a bit dodgy. You know, David Gray's got, he's unbeaten as manager, right enough, but he's got very little experience. It's extremely worrying to be having that setup, and I think it's very similar to when Gerrard looked very happy and then left Rangers. So I've got to say, I'm not overly confident because the last time we beat Celtic in a final was the 1973 League Cup final. That's the last time we've beaten Celtic in a final. So that we've got the weight of history against us. The fact that we get pumped by Celtic most times we play them in a final as well. And I hate saying that, but you can't beat about the bush. You've got to be honest and just say it, that Celtic are a good team and we don't have a good record against them in these big games. So it is concerning. And, you know, Ange ball and the fact that Celtic are on a high right now is worrying. At the same time, I think David Gray, I think he could motivate the lads. He did it as a captain in 2016 when we were behind. He G'd them up and he got us to that cup, Scottish Cup, because let's say he scored the goal and he was G'ing the lads up. And, you know, Alan Stubbs talked about that so many times. It was David Gray that got the lads feeling like they could win that cup with the belief. So I think he could do that But at the same time, that's a very good Celtic side, very talented, and you just don't know. So I'm sort of 50-50. Half of me says, I'm worried that we don't have a manager and Celtic are very good. The other half of me, which is the more sort of idealism side of me, is like, you know what, we can do it. David Gray and Lewy are just going to write themselves into Hibs history and win us this cup. I think that's what's going to. So I just don't know.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think from both aspects, as I said, there's a lot of uncertainty right now at Hibs, and I think we're coming up against a good Celtic team. You're right, there is no beating about the bush with that. However, with them tasting defeat last year at Hampden, a lot of the same players, a lot of the same teams, they've been on the receiving end of that, this team. Surely now they didn't want to feel like that again on Sunday, and they can try and G themselves up and think, right, how can we reverse that? And also, I think looking at I never really mentioned this last time we done the cup final, but thinking about the buzz that it gave the city and it gave the fans and it gave everybody. I mean, we still talk about 2016 all the time, at least once a week. People have still got it in their Twitter bios. People are still buying the cup final t-shirts, you know what I mean, with the David Gray t-shirt in the club store. We're still making money off that 5 years later. And we're still all it's almost like it was yesterday. I can still hear the noise in my head when that ball hit the back of the net, the roar. I can still hear it, I can still feel it, I can still smell it. And hopefully that, sort of, it's contagious, and hopefully they realize, like, if they win this, like, it's not going to be, all right, well done. It's going to be, time for Heroes Part 2. This is going to be, they'll never need to buy a pint in Leith again. Do you know what I mean? They will be legendary status. And I think hopefully they can take that on board and run with it. That sort of feel-good factor. However, on the other hand as well, Postecoglou over at Celtic, he's been in the door 6 months, and he's got a chance to get his hands on some silverware already, which could potentially then spur them on for the league as well. So there's quite a lot at stake here. What do you think this will mean for Hibs if we do win the cup, boys? Where do you think it will take us in terms of, like, direction, the new manager coming in? Will it be a buzz?
I think it's got the makings of either way, it's got the makings of a season definer. I think if we lose, I think it takes us on probably another negative spin. And obviously the new manager, whoever that may be, obviously we've all heard the rumours, so it's meant to be. That's a big task on his hands. If he comes in after, I'm assuming he'll be at the game on Sunday, so he'll be watching. But if we lose this, I think it's hard to pick yourself back up from that again. But if we do win it, I think it's got the makings of the season going in a positive direction. And I think we can, use the momentum that every team gets from winning a cup to go on and have a good second half of the season. And obviously, the game after against Aberdeen, that's a massive one as well. If we win that cup, we're flying high. We'll see the crowds back, hopefully, in their good numbers again. And I think it's got the season. I think it's season defining either way for me personally.
And Jack?
Yeah, I think this is becoming a bit of a theme, but I've got to agree with Charlie, to be honest. Either way, it's a season definer. We lose, it's where do we go for here, to be honest. And I think, whoever our new manager is, which is looking increasingly likely it's going to be Maloney, he'll be there. He'll be a bit like when Van Stronshorst was there at the League Cup semi, although I hope he doesn't have to witness what Van Stronshorst witnessed out of his team. But no, I think we lose that, it's going to be like, where do we go for here? If we win, it'll get the season back on track. It'll be a good thing for the new manager to come into. It'll be a good thing for Maloney to come into. And it'll hopefully bring the crowds back, and it'll give us something to cheer about, and it'll give the players confidence. So I think either way, definitely season defining.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think if they lose this, I think the numbers at the Aberdeen game will be considerably low, although they have been pretty low of recent, even though we're still claiming there's 13,000 at the game against Dundee.
Never.
And I think it was 15,000, but against the Motherwell game. I mean, yeah, they numbers someone can't count, that's for sure. But I think that if we lose the final, I almost don't think that people will buy the excuse, well, it was a good Celtic team. I don't think that one flies this time. I feel like this team has gotten to too many finals and bottled it too many times. The St Johnstone one last year, no good enough. That was the Holy Grail. We should have had that one. Even the semi-final, bottling it against Hearts as well. Like, there's too many players in the team that have lost for me one too many times, and if they do it this time as well, I fear for myself that I will become disengaged with the vision, and disengaged with really what's going on at Easter Road, because it's all about winning cups at the end of the day. This is why we go. This is why we support. And these are the memories that you hold high. Like when you're at, it's important to fans and things like that. Like when you're at the end of your life, you know what I mean? Like, you're no good at mind a 2-0 win against Motherwell. We played brilliant that day, and like bloody middle of November or something. No, it's cup finals and that you go by. Like, some of my best days of my life have been cup finals. Like 100% 2016 cup final, and the 2007 one as well. The first time I'd ever seen Hibs win anything, was brilliant. So for me, this is a must win, and I don't think that excuse flies. Like, it's a good Celtic team, because they've got a lot of injuries as well. And I was having a quick look to see who exactly on their team's injured. One of their main threats that I see is actually missing this game is Jota. Well, what's your thoughts on how he's impacted Celtic?
He's changed their season. Well, changed their season. He came in at the start, but he's changed the way they play. And I never like to see anyone get injured, but I breathed a sigh of comfort when he got injured, because, missing that final, it's a boost. It's a boost for Hibs. You can't look at it any other way. And if the rumours are that Kyogo's out too, that's another boost for Hibs. That's two. That's their. A Yeti, there's three. Well, a Yeti's probably not one of their better players, but like, there's three key players, if you will, for them that are missing. And I think we've got to look at that in confidence, that they are going to probably have. Well, and James Forrest missed up in Dingwall too. So who are they going to start up front? Giakoumakis. He's played about 3 minutes for them this season. So I'm quietly confident with their injury worries, but also it could be like a typical derby where Hearts say they've got players out and they've actually just called our bluff and they start. So we'll see what happens. But if they do, if Kyogo and Jota miss it, then I'm a wee bit more confident for the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, though, if these players are missing and we still don't win it, then my God, questions seriously have to be asked, because that is horrendous, man. If they're missing what states on the STV News, potentially 8 of their players, we don't take advantage of that. That's a big. You've also got to
look at the fact that we might also be missing Cadden and Nisbet. I
think they got the all clear. They got the all clear. Both of them are playing.
Oh, that's good.
We've got a strong team, and I imagine we'll come on to the Hibs team then. Who's your starting 11, boys?
I'll go.
Name your formation and your starting 11.
You take this one, Jack. Go on.
I'll go first, and I'm going to say my starting 11 is 2 up top, Nisbet and Dodge. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with a 3-5-2. I know David Gray's not been playing 3-5-2, but I'd go for a 3-5-2 anyway. So I'd go Nisbet and Dodge up top. You go in out wide as your sort of full backs. I'd say Boyle and Dodge. I'll go Boyle and Dodge. Midfield wise, just our usual midfield, basically, to be honest. JDH, Newell, and then centre halves, McGinn, Porteous, Hanlon, and then Macy and goals. So that's my team. So I think 3-5-2 works for us. And I think with David Gray's coaching and maybe just getting the confidence into them, it'll work well against Celtic. That's my view on it, because I think we can't afford to be open, or too open, I'd say, against Celtic, because they'll just put balls over the top or run rings around us. And well, that's basically what happened at Easter Road, isn't it? If you look at it, that's what Celtic did. We were far too open without the ball, and Celtic just ran us ragged. So that's how I'd set us up. I don't think there's any point in making any drastic changes. I hope young Josh Campbell gets a shout again, because he's been fantastic. He got his first goal against St Mirren, so that'll put his confidence up, and I think it's maybe just maybe written in the stars that Josh Campbell will score. Maybe, just maybe. I'd like to see that. I would really like to see that. A bit like in a similar vein to how a young Louis Stevenson was player of the match in the 2007 series.
Yeah.
So that could happen with Campbell. So we'll just have to see. But for me, that's my team. Because I think the 3-5-2 works. It'll give us a bit of solidity. It means we won't be too open without the ball. Because that's where Celtic will hurt us.
And Charlie, your own thoughts, mate? You're starting 11?
I'm going to go 3-4-1-2. So a wee bit different to the 3-5-2. With obviously having the attacking mid. So I think it'll be Macy in goals. As much as that's not what I would like, I think that's what he'll go with. I think back three, I'll go Hanlon, Porteous, and McGinn. Just the bog standard defence for us. I think I'd go Stevenson and Cadden as your wing backs. I don't think I'd give Doig the start. I think Stevenson was fantastic the other night against Dundee, I thought, so I'd give him the game, and obviously playing for his third cup, so may as well put him in. I think the midfield, your wing backs, sorry, are Stevenson and Cadden. Mid two of Doyle, Hayes and Newell. I think he'll play Boyle. If it was me, I'd play Boyle behind Nisbet and Doidge, because Boyle through the middle. We've seen that against Rangers, how good he was, how fast he was, and I think in a game like this, you need to attack Celtic's defence because they are very vulnerable at the back. As are we. Let's not be around the bush. They're very vulnerable at the back. So I think if we can attack them, I think we're in with a good shout.
Yeah, two very strong starting 11s. However, my only thing I noticed from that is it leaves very little to desire on the bench.
Aye.
That's just our problem,
Doidge and Nisbet. You start Doidge and Nisbet.
You've got Gullen and Scott on the bench, eh?
Nah.
That's just the situation that we've got. We've got to accept that. I think January will bring in recruitments. What we need, but we've just got to accept that we're weak in terms of squad depth right now. Like with the goalkeeper, I guess I picked up Charlie. As much as Macy sometimes has not got as many qualities as we'd like as a goalkeeper, although I've got to give him his dues. He's a good shot stopper. He just can't come out and collect crosses in his distribution.
He's not Marciano. That's the problem. We've been blessed having Marciano, I feel.
Yeah, but at the same time, Macy's got qualities that Marciano didn't. So to me, you can't compare goalkeepers too much because every goalkeeper's got a different game. Like it'd be like comparing Emily to Gabby or Gabby to Jenna Fife when you look at the women's team. You can't do that because they're all different players. But for me, who are we going to put in? We're going to put in David Mitchell, who hasn't played since.
Obviously not. I just think
you put in Dabrowski, who I don't think it's fair to put a young lad in the deep end like that. So
Macy will get his game. I've just got my own personal reservations against him as a keeper, having seen some of the stuff. But he's a good enough keeper for Hibs. Like obviously he's like, and I'm not comparing him at all, but he's not Marciano. But also at the same time, he's a decent keeper. So.
I'll compare them because I think Marciano was better at commanding his box. I feel like Marciano. I mean, didn't get me wrong. He's only been there for a couple of months, Macy. 6 months or something himself. He's not been there a hell of a long time. Am I right?
He joined in January.
January.
Right, so he's been there a year. He's probably and he sat behind Marciano. Did he know?
I played the cup games.
So
played the cup games. Played at Celtic Park.
He's maybe not had as much time to sort of gel with the back four, but for me, Marciano had a very good understanding, the three of them. There was one bit at the Dundee game, and it was like he was going to take a kick, and bloody Hanlon and Porteous were both standing on the edge of the 6-yard box screaming for it, and it's like, what he's doing? He's taking a goal kick. There was
also another one where Dundee had put the ball in the box, and Porteous Macy had said, leave it, I'll take it, and Porteous is like, and puts it over a corner, and they're just arguing with each other. It's like there's no, and I'm not saying that's exclusively Macy, but doesn't seem like there's a lot of communication in the defence this season. And I don't know, that could have been Rocky that done that. I don't know, but it seems like we're lacking in that a wee bit.
I've noticed that. It's like nobody's talking, and I think that's annoying. That's what's led to a lot of the situations being. But okay, coming back to the bench, the bench is thin. We've got to accept that.
Yeah.
And you never know, because I'm one for no writing players off until they've really annoyed me. You never know. Scott could come in and score the winning goal. As much as he's, been slapped in the Slim Jim at HTC and is set up in horrible condition for down south, which is why I don't particularly like these sorts of loan deals. You never know. Gulling could come on and score the winner. You just do not know, because it's a one.
Yeah,
that's true. But
yeah, let's not beat around the bush. Jay Wright could score the winner. And how many Hibs fans have written him off?
Me.
Kevin. I've written him off too.
I didn't mind if someone takes a shot from 40 yards and it hits off his arse and goes, and I'll still be going mad. But
who's this Dre Wright that we speak of? I remember that. Like, honestly, funny story, just to go off on a bit of a tangent for the listeners here. I remember Dre Wright got brought on in a game. I think it might have been in the Arsenal friendly, and I was like, oh my God, did we not get rid of it? I'd forgot that he played for us, to be honest.
You've not been on Hibs Twitter enough, mate. That's a problem.
Who the hell's he?
Right, you've not been on Hibs Twitter enough. That's a problem, mate. There's a lot.
No, it's just the problem is the Hibs Twitter I'm on is a little more, how do we put it, a little more politically correct than Hibs Twitter that Charlie looks at, for example.
Little more positive, I guess.
Right, okay. So, I think my lineup, I think Gray will go more or less the same. He did, Jack Ross did for the Rangers game. I think he'll go with the exact same team. One of the, I think he'll probably leave Doidge on the bench. I think he's going to have to, and the reason I think that is because, we're going to have to have something to bring off the bench, and I think they'll play very defensively. I think they'll try and make themselves very ugly and very hard to beat. And I can see them going Mason goals, a back three of Hanlon, Porteous, and McGinn, Josh Doig left wing back, Cadden right wing back, Jake Doyle Hayes, Josh Campbell, Joe Newell, Boyle and Nisbet up top. I just think he'll stick with that team. I think Gray knows that team. And one of the positives about having Gray at the helm this time is the fact not only does he know what it takes to win the cup and all that, blah, 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 but at the same time, like, he's been in and around the team for a while now. It's not like he's just get a caretaker manager and an under 20s, 23s or something. He's been on the coaching staff with Jack Ross and that, and he's shared his ideas
and having
his philosophies and that. So
and having Craig Sampson there too, and Eddie May, they all know the boys. I mean, Eddie May's not been directly involved, but you're right, Kelvin. Like having someone who's been on that coaching staff, and it looks like he'll be on the coaching staff for the next manager as well, if it is Sean Maloney. So it's only a good thing.
I think it's exactly all of that to me is positive. And Eddie May's been working away in the background, like Charlie says. Eddie May has been around Hibs for years and years and years and years and years. And he knows something like this. He's known Lewy since Lewy was wee. He knew Lewy since he was a bairn. So you look at players like that, and the thing like with David Gray, look at how long it's been. It's not like what Rangers had in the semi-final, where it was a ragtag team of. Because look at Defoe. I mean, Defoe has been at Rangers 3-4 years. Whilst Gray's been with us for donkey's years, and so's Sampson. So, it's only a good thing that you have that experience. It's not like Rangers at all in that respect, where these guys know the squad, they've worked with them for years and years and years. So I think for us, it's a good thing. And that might work in our favour, because they'll want to play for Gray in that final, especially guys like Lewy, and if Lewy starts, and Paul and Ryan's admitted it so many times that he looks up to Gray. So I think you look at that, that's a big positive for us.
I must also add, and like you're saying, they want to do this for David Gray, but you've seen a lot of the players come out.
Well, no, that's Sir David, actually.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the players come out and defend Jack Ross and the sacking of Jack Ross and disagreeing with it. And I wonder if just some of the players in this team will want to put on a performance to sort of point towards Jack Ross and sort of say, this is, maybe get this cup for Jack Ross in a way, and a sort of sentiment for what he's done and the groundwork he's laid. Because as I said, I mean, a lot of the players came out and defend him. They were very, they thought it was their fault that he left. They enjoyed him as a manager, whether that's true or no, Ken, whatever. But I want there to be an element of that. Could be clutching at straws.
You never know. What I've got to say on that is, I'd like to think, it would be nice to think that, and in an ideal world, that's probably it. But you don't know what some people think. But I think for a lot of them, yeah, because Jack Ross and I've spoke to so many people that have known Jack Ross,
Give a lot of
closely.
their
Look
chance.
at what Joelle said about him. Joelle spoke very highly of him, and she's a senior figure in the club. Joelle's a fantastic sort of figure in the club, and Joelle's coaching herself. She's got her A license, or working towards it anyway, so she knows what coaching's all about. You've had all the senior players coming out and speaking about him, so I think it is true, and I would like to see that, because at the end of the day, it would also be an apology of sorts, because I think some of them were on the end of, or contributing to the reasons that Jack Ross got sacked. So in a way, it'd be like, sorry, Jack. I mean, it's a shame that you weren't here today for us, but we'll sort of give you something back. So I think it would be nice. But at the same time, Jack Ross is ancient history now. It's all about Sir David. And I think they will do it for him. Because a lot of them, a lot of the lads are like saying he's like a father figure as well, David Gray. He's like a second father. So I think that really does feed into it. And I would really like to see that, because it just makes it all that bit sweeter. Celtic have got some random fat Australian guy. He's got Sir David Gray.
I know what you're saying. I think it's really hard to talk about these things. I think.
You know what? Sorry, Kelvin. Sorry to interrupt you, Kelvin. I've just thought of what I was trying to say. Now, a minute. It's like when we won the League Cup in '73. Eddie Turnbull was a manager, legend of a player. Those lads all grew up either watching Turnbull, or even Stanton, when he was a young lad, actually sort of trained alongside Turnbull. That's what it's like with Gray for me. And Gray would be the first Hibs player since Turnbull to win a trophy as a player and a manager. So Turnbull won the league as a player, then won the League Cup as a manager. Gray won the Scottish Cup as a player and the League Cup as a manager. So I think you can see some comparisons to Eddie Turnbull there, which would be even better. And the Hibs Daz would love that even more. So there you go. I think that you could make that Turnbull comparison, actually.
Yeah, you probably could. I think you also, if we do win this one at the weekend, then Lewis Stevenson is no longer the only player at the club that's won.
But then it also shuts the Jambos up, because Rudy's got 2, but Louis got 3 now. So get that up, you.
Exactly. Also, Rudy was a journeyman that didn't care about Hearts, whilst Louis been at Hibs all his career.
Anyway, no talk about them. They're not playing in the final. But
well, I tell you what, the last time Hearts won this competition, it was the year 1968. There was a wall in Berlin. The Soviet Union had packed their missiles in Cuba, and John F. Kennedy. Oh no, wait, he'd been shot by then.
My dad wasn't even a thought by then.
My dad wasn't even born.
My dad wasn't even a thought by then.
My dad was year for being born. My mum was 2. So there you go.
It goes back a bit. It's crazy nowadays. I actually teach parents at the school that weren't even alive in 2007. I'm like, wow, you never seen him win the cup 2007? One of the best days of my life. But what do you think that if we win, when we win it, what do you think that it'll be like? How will the parade in that work? I've no really.
I don't know.
I don't think there will be a parade. No, because of COVID.
The road, surely.
But it's a Sunday, so there's. I think. Unless they'll probably parade it before, they'll parade it before or after the Aberdeen game.
If we have it, when we win it, though, I think there won't be a parade, because with the 1991 Skull Cup, they did do the bus, but it wasn't through like what they did with the Scottish Cup. It was just down Easter Road, and then it was paraded in Easter Road as well when we won the Skull Cup 1991. 2007 CIS Cup, that
was paraded at Easter Road that night.
Yeah, so. I think for me, I don't know how it's going to work. Obviously, Nicky Sturgeon will have something to say about it, regardless. What you didn't get over.
Her man's a Hibby.
Aye,
Nicky the Hibby.
She'll let us parade it, mate. She's a Hibby.
Exactly.
She'll be driving the bus.
Ian Blackford will come up for Westminster.
I was going to ask you.
I don't know how it'll work, but what I've got to say to people is, and I don't want to be like the boring party pooper, but what I've got to say, when we win, remember, we're still in a global pandemic. It's coming up for Christmas. Please celebrate responsibly, because at the end of the day, we've got Christmas plans. We didn't want folk having to isolate and everything like that. So please do celebrate responsibly.
Jack, I can't make any promises, but before Wednesday night's game, if we win this cup, I will definitely not be celebrating responsibly.
I've got to be the sensible one for once in my life.
You can't plan for exuberance.
Aye,
we'll get a wee bit of exuberance. I hope Windmill one's been limbering up, and I hope that wee boy at Easter Road, I hope he's ready. I know he's Windmill man in the making. He's Windmill man junior.
Exactly. Now, what I will say is, if we win, I can't promise I'm not going on the pitch again. It's a ritual. It's a ritual for me. I've got to do it. I'm obviously.
We see Kelvin, but we're going to play bingo. When's Kelvin going to get wrestled down by the steward?
I can't. I've got work the next game day. What I was going to say is though, who's obviously, it's obviously a easy question, but who's sort of going to be our main players, or who are you looking to stand up? Now, one of the controversial players that everybody's going on about right now in Raven is Joe Newell, and for me, I don't see it. I mean, for me, quite a lot of misplaced passes. For me, almost looks afraid to get on the ball at times. Doesn't he do enough for me personally? I don't think he does enough. I see him hiding at times when he could be asking to receive the ball and drive forward. The football on the Wednesday night against Dundee, Tuesday night was horrendous, man. Let's not beat about the bush. It was poor.
It was
backwards and sideways and backwards. That was it. However, I think that style might suit us against Celtic a wee bit. Playing keep ball a wee bit. I mean, it's for me. This is cat and mouse. This has got to be difficult to win this one. Let's not beat about the bush. But how are you feeling? Our players that are going to step up.
I'm going to be a controversial one here, and I'm going to say PaulHanlon needs to step up his game if we're going to win this cup.
Let me interject here, because this is an amazing phrase. Must be the last couple cup finals minus the St Johnstone when a Hibs captain scored.
Aye, but I didn't mean it purely on the fact that my personal view on him as a player, but just purely on the fact that he's the captain. He needs to step his game up 10. Yeah. And Porteous, Paul McGinn came up. The whole defence line needs to step our game up tenfold on Sunday. Matt Macy as well. I think if we get the defence game sorted, you're halfway there. If we can defend well, that's it. And we defended well against Rangers, so take that. But PaulHanlon needs to step the game up on Sunday for me personally. And obviously, if he steps the game up, the whole team follows because he's the captain and you lead by example. So.
Aye, because we've got, last couple, like I said, Hibs captains. You've got McPake scored in the 5-1 derby.
Jones scored.
Jones before it, and then you had Sir David Gray himself. So, hopefully Hanlon can get himself on the score sheet.
Continue the tradition.
There's a wee omen. I'm not too sure how you feel about that, but
I think, if my players need to step up, I think Boyle needs to be properly on top of his game. Because see, when Boyle's on top of his game and he's having a good game, the rest of the team falls in line behind him. Nisbet needs to step up his game, because I watched back the highlights of the Dundee game, and Nisbet just his usual disinterested self. So I think he needs to step up. I think Newell, to be fair, I think Newell could have a good game, and hopefully it's the Tamworth Purlow we get again. Which, whoever gave him that nickname, get yourself down to the Royal Edinburgh. That's all I've got to say for saying that. But I think Newell will. I think he'll possibly have a good game. But yeah, for me, Boyle, because as soon as Boyle's on top form like that, the rest of the team falls in line behind him. And yeah, the back line. If the back line have a good game and are solid like they were against Rangers, then we'll be sorted. So yeah, that's who I think needs to. And all I've got to say is, Charlie, please don't yell "step up Hibs" the last time, because every time we yell "step up Hibs," Celtic scored the last time.
I'm not saying "step up Hibs" once in that game, Jack. I know what happened last time I said it.
Yeah, exactly.
I say that against Rangers as well, and we conceded a dodgy penalty. So I'm not saying it on Sunday. I'm going to say "step up Celtic." Try to do a bit reverse psychology here.
I love it.
Aye, so like you're saying, Boyle, for me, Boyle's obviously our bread and butter, sort of every sort of attack we have or any idea we have on how to play a game of football. He is our, basically our king, I guess, if you're talking in a game of chess. He's the one that pulls all the strings. How are we going to, obviously Celtic are going to prepare to just shut him down every time he gets a ball, I'd imagine. How are we going to game plan for that? How are we going to game plan to utilise him?
I think having an interchange between him and Cadden. Well, if Cadden's playing wing back, I don't know if he could play a striker, but you get what I mean, like having them swap, have the overlap between the two of them, different points. I think that might be the way to counter that, and maybe even switching them side. Maybe put Josh Doig or Stevenson right. I know it's maybe a out there thought, but maybe swapping them sides might at some point during the game. If we're not getting any joy in that right hand side, put them on the left hand side. See what happens.
We need to do something. We'll need to do something to utilise them because, like I said earlier in the season, we need to be versatile this year and hard to beat.
We need to be. But you look at that, and I think you look at the women's team. You're always like seeing Alexa and Kavanagh and Gallagher all switching about with each other, and that puts defences off. I think we need to be doing that at the men's team as well, because that needs to happen. Because what's going to Celtic will be switched on to that, because you sort of seen it when they played us at Easter Road. Boyle was getting marked out of the game by I think it was either Cameron and Carter Vickers or it was Starfelt was marking Boyle out of the game. I can't quite remember.
I think it would have been Starfelt.
It was Starfelt, aye. Starfelt was marking him out of the game, and Starfelt's not that good, if you ask me. I've not been impressed with him, so I think we just need to confuse the Celtic, bamboozle them. You see what I mean? just do a bit of, see how all I've got to say is it's like painting. They used to paint dazzle paint on the side of the warships to confuse the submarines. They need to do that with us. We need to just start switching it everywhere. Just make Celtic put it into a blur. Get the Tasmanian devil. That's what we'll do. That'll put them off. He's Australian,
just have a.
I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. It's got to the point in the podcast where I just start blithering a load of nonsense.
I think going back to what I was saying, I think we need a second game plan as well. Like if the first one's not working, then flip it. Like
not like Boris Johnson's plan B though.
Yeah, hopefully a more effective. This podcast is obviously not political in any stretch or the imagination, but just having like a plan B that's actually going to like confuse Celtic and be like, well, they've changed their way of playing. Let's try and combat that. But I think having a second idea how to get the game on by the scruff of the neck might do us a wee help as well.
I just think like Ron Gordon said when he was on our podcast, we need to be ugly. We need to be hard to play against. We need to get in their faces because Celtic don't like that. See, when you come out and you hit Celtic fast and hard, like what we done against Rangers, like they can't cope with it. That's how you beat these teams. You didn't sit back and defend. You go for it. And I'd like to see us do that on Sunday. What are you going to say, Jack?
They struggled against Ross County because Ross County got in their faces.
Aye.
If it hadn't been for that late winner, then Celtic would have been coming away for Dingwall with only a point. So
97 minutes.
Yeah, I think
plus
you
7
look
minutes
at that,
time.
and you go, if we're mean and we're physical against Celtic, like Ross County were, because if a team like Ross County can give them a game like that, we can give them a game. Simple as. So it's just about not being scared for them and not rolling over for them because they're Celtic.
Well, we'll wrap this one up, guys. To conclude, we'll go for score predictions.
I'll go first.
Go on, Jack.
And then you know what? Just people are going to hate me for this, but 2-1 Hibs. Just gonna go for it. 2-1 Hibs. And I'm going to say a Boiler brace to continue his Hampden. No, in fact, Boyle and Hanlon. Why not? Boyle and Hanlon, just to continue. David Gray coming on in the last minute off the bench. He's just going to come out the technical area with his tracksuit. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm going to say Boyle and Hanlon just because I want Hanlon to score so that he continues the tradition of captain scoring in finals. And for Celtic, I'm going to say, I don't know who gets Celtic's goal, but I'm going to say we'll go 2-0 up. Celtic will get a goal back, make it a bit nervy, but we'll see it out and win the cup. So 2-1 Hibs. And my other prediction, since John Beaton's the referee, I'm going to say penalty Rangers as well.
1-0 Rangers.
Aye.
Charlie, your predictions?
You ready?
Yes.
3-0 Hibs.
Aye, all right.
Come on, I'm going for it. I'm going for it, mate.
Charlie, you want to go to the Royal Edinburgh?
No, mate.
Give me an ice, whatever you're smoking.
What's the confidence?
I'm going for it, mate. 3-0 Hibs. Think Boyle to get one, Hanlon to get the winner, and
Macy.
fake it, Matt Macy for a kick out. Let's just.
Macy, obviously.
Nah, I think 3-0 Hibs. I think 3-0 Hibs. I'm confident.
Mate, I would take that every day of the week. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to go 1-0 Hibs.
I was waiting on you saying 1-0 Celtic there.
1-0 Hibs, and it's got to be the scrappiest goal you've ever seen in your life. It's got to be a corner swings in, and everyone's going to miss it, and then it's going to ping off freaking one of the Celtic defenders' chest, and it's got to come back out, and someone's Dodge has got to hit. It's got to hit the post, and it's got to hit off someone's back, and freaking Josh Campbell get the last touch, whatever, this big scramble in the box to just go over the line. And this is going to happen in the first. This is going to happen in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and we're going to be hanging on for dear life. And if
I couldn't watch it.
We're going to feel ill for the next 86 minutes. That's my prediction. We're going to feel sick as a dog for the next 80. It'll be freaking. We'll be winning 1-0 all the way to the end. They'll get what will be a very close call penalty, which will be on the edge of the box, and it'll be like this close to getting in the box, and it'll be a free kick, and they'll miss it, blaze it over the bar, and then the line, I bet you they put up the board freaking 5 minutes extra time or 6 minutes extra time. We will be shiting ourselves, holding on for dear life, and I mean dear life. I mean, you stop. It'll age you. You'll come out, look, the wrinkles in your head. Now, honestly, I think we will. And I think the relief when he blows that whistle, oh my God, honestly, you'll be able to, I couldn't describe it, but I genuinely think it'll be 1-0 Hibs. It'll be the scrappiest goal you've ever seen, man. Scrappy. Fight in the box. And I think Campbell will get the goal, aye. So, any other thoughts, boys? We'll wrap this one up.
Just battle fever. On the Hibs.
Aye, on the Hibs. Hope you're watching, Sean. Hope you've got a good idea what you're coming into after this.
Exactly.
Thierry with you, I know.
I bring Thierry on with you, but I would like to.
We did that against Ireland once. We've done it against Ireland. We did it against Celtic, I know.
I would like to say if it is Sean Maloney, it's going to be our new manager. Just get behind him for the get-go.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a manager in who's going to be here for the long haul. We can't ask for his head after one defeat. So if you're get behind him, we'll see what January brings, and we'll take it for there.
Maloney's green and white army.
Girls don't like boys, Kelvin. Girls like Sean Maloney. There's the new one.
All right, okay, very good. I'll tell you something. All we know is there's going to be a show, and the famous Edinburgh Hibs will be there. So let's go. Let's go. Till next time, on the Hibs.